Hey, I'm OK Kenedi. I'm an indie artist and songwriter from Atlanta, but I was not allowed to listen to secular music growing up. So, in an effort to save me and my reputation, these are my friends Rachel and Sarah. And on this podcast, we talk about bands and artists I should know, but probably don't.
So, have you ever heard of Taylor Swift?
Have I ever heard of Taylor Swift? I was a Swiftie. I am a Swiftie. But growing up, like, when I was a teenager, a preteen, I was, like, in love with Taylor Swift.
That nice puberty phase.
Yes. I didn't like country music, and I still liked Taylor Swift when she was country.
See, I only liked Taylor Swift when she was country.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I love Taylor Swift. I love her involvement. I think I love everything.
Yeah, I think I gravitated towards Taylor Swift because she was a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think I've said it I know I've said it on interviews and other podcasts. I don't know if I've said it on this one, but I started writing music as like a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 and 5 years old when you first start learning how to write.
Yeah.
I had little journals and I would go outside and I would write songs in little kid handwriting. They say Kenedi songs. And so I had always been writing songs, and around 14, 15, probably younger than that. I don't know how old I was when I first heard of Taylor Swift, but when I heard of Taylor Swift and I found out that she wrote her own songs, to me, in my mind, because of how young she was and that she was writing her own music, that was revolutionary to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, she writes her own music. I love writing music. I want to be like that.
She started really young.
Yeah,
She did.
very.
Yeah, so she actually was born in Pennsylvania.
On a Christmas tree farm.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until she was about 12 to like 14, where her family started moving towards Nashville. So that way she could get more opportunities in like the country music industry.
Yeah.
Before that, when she was in Pennsylvania, she sang the national anthem at one of the Philadelphia games. And then she went to Nashville, and then she eventually at 14 got signed to Sony. And I thought, like, that's just so young.
One of the youngest songwriters ever to be signed.
Yeah.
If not
Yeah.
the youngest.
I think it was the youngest for Sony.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly reading that. So, but then after that, while she was playing a gig actually at the Bluebird Cafe, a record executive, his name was Scott Borchetta.
Cool.
Yeah. So he actually found her when she was singing at the Bluebird Cafe and signed her to Big Machine label. And that's where she did her first single, Tim McGraw. So a little brief history. But really, I don't really have too much of a personal connection with Taylor Swift like all the other ones. Because again, I wasn't like the biggest fan. So I feel like you probably have more information than I do.
For me, she was just revolutionary to see someone that was, she's older than me, but young enough for me to be able to like really relate to her as a kid. And again, for me, it was the songwriting. And today, I think you can have any opinion you want on her music. I've met people who love Taylor Swift. I've met people who hate Taylor Swift, and I've met people in the middle who like specific songs, but are not huge Taylor Swift fans. But I think it's undeniable that she is a marketing genius. I mean, her fan base is crazy. They are crazy. I mean, to me, I think there's not a more brilliant modern marketer than Taylor Swift. The way she puts Easter eggs in all of her stuff, the way she strings her fans along, all her merch ideas, like the Midnights album, how you could buy 4 different vinyls and flip them over and they became a clock. I mean, just the way she does her promo and the way she interacts with her fans, I think there's just not, I mean, she's a brilliant marketer. Not only like do I think her songwriting is phenomenal, I think that her marketing is genius. So that's why I always tell people you can have any opinion on her music, especially like recently working with a lot of music industry people and meeting them. I hear mixed reviews on Taylor Swift, but I think no one can deny how brilliant of a marketer she is.
You can't really deny that she's revolutionary.
No.
To the music industry. Like, just based off of how much she evolves over the years and how she's literally taking over every genre that she's in. You know what I mean? Because she's done country, pop, like bubblegum pop, and then she did like like the bad boy reputation stuff, and then she did alternative. She's done folk.
Yeah.
She's done everything.
I think she's just like versatile, and I don't know. She's hard to box in, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also like, I think if you just look at her lyrics, they're very intricate and purposeful, and her word choice is really great to me. I think that as a songwriter, I have like a lot of respect for the way she writes things. I think she might have some of my favorite one-liners ever in her writing. And the fact that I know Speak Now, that whole record, she wrote it solely. There was no co-writes. No one is attributed for having been a songwriter on that record. It's totally just Taylor Swift, and that is a feat to do. That's crazy to pull off.
That is, yeah. Like from past times and modern times, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to do, to be solely the only writer.
And huge as a woman
Yeah,
in the music industry as well.
absolutely. She's like a trailblazer for a lot of women in the industry.
Yeah.
She's a feminist and always has been, always will be a feminist icon. Love her for that.
So tell us about her music.
Oh, okay. Well, as everyone knows, she started out like real country, like the twang in in the first album is
beautiful.
so insane.
It was beautiful.
I know
Sarah.
it is beautiful, but I'm saying it was so insane.
Well, her icon was Shania Twain.
yes.
So the twang came from the twain.
Ooh.
Wow, that
Yeah.
talk about one-liners there.
There she is.
Badooch.
But that came out in 2006, and I like vividly remember my older sister listening to this, and Picture to Burn. I like literally vividly remember hearing that song for the first time. It's crazy. I was 6 years old when
Yeah.
her first album came out. 6. And so just after listening, I don't really listen to that album very much, but after listening to like her newer stuff is really what I like. Going back and hearing that kind of twang is insane. But then she comes out with another one in 2008, and she kind of loses that twang and starts leaning more towards like the pop country stuff.
What album are you referring to?
The 2008, it's Fearless. That's the album. The first album was
Her
Taylor
debut.
Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second album is that one, Fearless, which has like You Belong With Me on it and stuff like that. Which
You
I
don't
feel
hear
like
any twang on that record?
I hear some twang, but it's not as much twang as
Like she was moving away.
Yeah.
Well, she's also maturing.
yes.
I mean, she was how old when she wrote her debut? When she like recorded her debut
I think
record?
she was
16.
yeah.
She was 16.
So I mean, also some of that comes with age. I
Oh
think.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And then 2010 comes around and she starts to evolve even more with Speak Now. And she's got like Dear John on that, which I think Dear John is a really, really good song.
Yeah.
And Sparks Fly, which is also a good song, but like I feel like the twang is gone by that point. She's evolving, which I love the evolvement of her. Oh, I'm passionate about it. And then in 2012, she comes out with the anthem to me being 12, which is 22. Well, the album is red. The album is red, but I remember hearing 22 on Teen Nick Top 10's music video, and I wanted to be 22 so bad. So bad. And when I turned 22, that was the song I listened to almost every day because I was in it.
Yeah.
We played you 22.
Yeah, I know.
We surprised you
On my
and
birthday.
we were playing 22 when you walked in. Yeah.
And that is when I think she started breaking into pop.
Red.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was a good record.
It's like fully pop, but I think that's still under country. Which is I don't know why, but that's weird. Anyways, in 2014, she like bam is full on pop. Full on pop with 1989, which is another album that I love. Cuz Blank Space, I've probably heard that song 3,000 times. Because did you go a day in 2014 without hearing Blank Space or Shake It Off on the radio station?
It was everywhere.
Shake It Off, most definitely. Just constantly.
Everywhere. It was everywhere. And I still listen to the radio in 2014. So it was literally on like every half hour. She genuinely took over the pop scene as a country artist beforehand.
It was also, I think, big because we hadn't really seen anyone cross genres like that.
Yes.
I remember people made a big deal about
Yes.
Taylor Swift's gone pop, all this stuff. And I think the taboo around that probably helped boost that album.
Yeah, absolutely. And like she did it flawlessly as well. She absolutely flawlessly. It was masterfully done. Okay? And then after like the longest hiatus she has in her like career to that point, she comes out with her Bad Boy album, Reputation.
Bad Boy album.
It was her Bad Boy album. She like lost the America's Sweetheart thing and went, okay, whatever. This is it. It's snakes and it's black and white. And the whole like, and look what you made me do. Like I'm sorry, old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. That is iconic.
That was iconic.
And the like the mania around that. I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, people freaked out.
And that
People
was
freaked out.
insane. That was insane for pop culture.
Everyone's also like, what happened to Taylor Swift?
Exactly. Exactly. I was expecting her to like get like 30 more tattoos during that era. And like, I don't know. It just made everyone feel that like angst that I feel like she didn't get to have because she was America's Sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then it just all just came out in that album, which is actually a really good album. Have either of you listened to that album?
Yes.
I love that album. Okay. It's got
You're very passionate
gorgeous.
about this.
Yes, I am. I am very passionate about her just like flawlessly executing this amount of genres and like bending the narrative and constantly staying like 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And Gorgeous is one of my favorite songs, and that's on Reputation.
That's the
I
one
got a
that
boyfriend, he's
yeah.
older than a... Yeah.
You
That's
sing that
what-
all the time.
you come out of your car with it just like still like blaring.
I love that one. And then,
Folklore, right?
no, Lover.
Lover. Oh, I love that song.
2019.
I do like that one.
2019
That one
Lover.
is a good one.
The song Lover's got like this classic, classy, oldies vibe to it
Mhm.
that I love.
Yeah.
She had that. She went from the dark angst, snakes, black and white, to
Lover.
Lover, which is like bright
It
and
was such a soft
sweet
transition.
pop.
It's very pretty colors.
Yes.
I like those colors a lot.
Then we get into Folklore,
Yes.
which I think the sounds in Folklore are really. That might be some of my favorite stuff, just
Mhm.
because of how homegrown it sounds.
Mm-hmm. That's like that came out like Folklore came out 11 months after Lover did, and she like crossed into another genre. She's an under alternative in Folklore.
Yeah.
She leans into such a new texture with that, like it's so raw and it's so real, like which is completely different from the last album, which was bright synthy pop, and then like literally 5 months after Folklore is Evermore.
Which, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the record she didn't announce she was releasing.
No, that's a surprise one.
That was cool.
Oh, it was a
Yeah.
That was cool.
surprise.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew until it came out.
Talk about
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Her marketing stuff is crazy.
And she wrote those during the pandemic.
Yeah. And then we have the newest one, Midnights, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in between. Yeah. She's got a lot of stuff.
Well, technically, the re-recordings,
yeah.
the Taylor's version stuff does come before Midnight's.
Yeah. Well, she's been re-releasing, I think, all of her records
Mm-hmm.
under the Taylor's version.
Taylor's version stuff.
Because of, like, the drama that went on with Scooter Brown.
Yeah,
And more power to her. For
exactly.
doing
She
all
wants
that.
to own her own stuff, and
she
she
should.
did it.
She should.
She's
She should've.
doing it. Yeah.
I think that for me, Taylor Swift growing up was because I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music,
Mm-hmm.
and yet somehow I found ways to find Taylor Swift. For me, I thought like, and somehow in a magical turn of events, I was able to turn my mom onto Taylor Swift.
Mm.
So I always say when my dad left the house, my mom played 80s rock and roll and Elvis,
Yeah.
and then when my friends introduced me to Taylor Swift, I introduced my mom to Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
So when my dad was out of the house, we listened to 80s rock and roll, Elvis, and Taylor Swift.
So she got put into that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, like, for me, it's like 80s rock and roll and Elvis for me because
Mhm.
I somehow, I don't know how, it was magic. I was able to group Taylor Swift into the 80s rock and roll and Elvis with my mom. And so we would listen to Taylor Swift all the time. And I turned my little brother on to Taylor Swift, who was still a huge Taylor Swift fan. I learned her song, Never Grow Up, on guitar when he was really, really little. And I would sit on the edge of his bed and sing him to sleep at night. And that's the song he always wanted to fall asleep to. And he still says that's our song. I have like a lot of sentimental attachment to a lot of the stuff Taylor Swift did. And I'm with you. I think it's brilliant how she's been able to just cross genres and still maintain her fan base. And when you cross genres like that, you grab new fans that
Yeah.
someone who didn't like country music may love her alternative folklore album, and now they're Taylor Swift fans, and she's able to just accumulate this massive amount of people who would quite honestly do anything for that woman. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you guys seen the Era Tour stuff. I mean,
Freaking insane.
people
crazy.
are crazy over that tour. I talked to a friend this morning who told me, they will remain anonymous because they do not want their name out because of this. They paid $300 for their Taylor Swift tickets and just resold them for $3,000.
No, that's insane profit.
Insane profit. I mean, because people are like that thirsty for those tickets.
Wow.
And it's also, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but people that couldn't get into the concerts and didn't get tickets are just crowding parking lots. Thousands of people outside those venues, those arenas, and are listening to the show outside.
I saw something, I think it was on Facebook, one of like the news articles, that instead of tailgating, now it's tay-gating. Where they're
funny.
like going and watching like because the big screens, because I mean she's in arenas, right? So
Yeah.
like, there's big screens of like her on stage, and so they're going tay-gating.
That's hilarious.
I saw like in Nashville on her 3-day run there, there was at least 2,000 people outside the already like 80,000 arena.
Yeah.
There was just it's a flood of people outside just trying to listen to the reverb out of the arena. That's insane.
Well,
Insane.
wasn't it also that when she was in Atlanta that like people waited in line for just her merch table?
Yeah, because if they couldn't get in, they were smart in Atlanta. I don't know if they did this everywhere else, but they opened the merch tables way before the concert and let anyone come in and get merch.
Mm-hmm.
And like
That was
right
brilliant.
there, I mean, because that's their money, like the main money source.
Yeah.
You know, and like just the fact that people are coming in just for the merch. They're not
Yeah.
even going to see her.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even get tickets. Like just, I need a T-shirt.
They're just breathing the same air she
Yeah.
may have breathed in.
Yeah.
She may have walked down these halls.
That stuff was crazy. And I think we talked about this Eras tour may be the highest grossing tour ever in
It
history.
is. It is actually the highest grossing tour ever. It's supposed to make 1.5 to 1.9 billion dollars.
That is wild.
And I've seen things where it's saying that Taylor Swift is literally like resurrecting America's economy because of this.
Taylor for president.
Not only that, but like I mean, it's also her fans. They
I told you,
literally
the fans.
they literally will do anything.
She pockets $13 million a night at least.
I like it's just crazy. It's just mind.
We should just learn
blowing.
from this that it's possible. These things are
is.
possible.
It
Absolutely.
is.
These things are crazy, but they're obviously possible
Mhm.
with hard work and effort and like brilliance, obviously. Let me run you guys through some crazy facts I found about Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And maybe not, some of them are not so crazy, but some of them are pretty crazy.
Okay.
Pretty cool. So, for instance, I did not know this, but she's named after James Taylor.
I saw that. Yeah,
Really?
it was her mom. Her mom really loved James Taylor.
Also, as a kid, she wanted to be a stockbroker like her dad.
Which
She went real-
means that she's really good at marketing.
And her money.
Yeah.
I found out she learned to play guitar at 12 years old after learning a few chords from a technician who was fixing her computer. Imagine being that guy. I taught Taylor Swift the first chord she knew on guitar while I was fixing.
That's
computer.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
An American hero, an unnamed hero. She sang and won her high school talent show with Our Song, which later became a breakout hit.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
cool.
That was pretty cool to me.
That is cool.
That actually is really cool.
So she rolled up at her school talent show, played an original song, which is our song, and she won that talent show. And then we literally all of us know that song.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be really hard to find someone who doesn't know that song.
Yeah, our song was like my song.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that song.
Song was fun. Also, this is just a cat fact. She's got 3 cats, and they're all named after famous TV or film characters. She's got Olivia Benson, which is from
Oh,
Law and Order.
yes,
Come on, guys.
Yes,
I don't
sorry.
watch
Okay.
Law and Order.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen Law and
I
Order.
watch Law and Order all the time. Meredith Grey
From
Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy.
and Benjamin Button.
From Benjamin Button by, or was it Brad Pitt?
That's
who
Brad
played
Pitt,
him?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie. But
I love that movie.
those are all for cats.
Really good movie.
Also, I found this crazy because I am not sure Taylor Swift would be where she's at had it not been for her extremely supportive parents.
Mm-hmm.
We talked
True.
about them moving to Nashville for her
Mm-hmm.
at a very young age.
Yes.
It's one thing for someone to be a kid to be 18 and go, Mom and Dad, this is really what I want to do, and would you consider moving there with me?
yeah.
Then to be like, I don't know, when
She
how
was
old?
12.
Yes,
Or like, yeah,
to
like
be
12, 14.
and say, Mom and Dad, I really want to move to Nashville. Will you help? And then them
And they
uproot
just
everything and do it
did it. Yeah.
for her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know we'd have Taylor Swift if it weren't for a supportive mom and dad.
That's true.
Okay. And then I found out this fact, which is crazy. So her father, Scott Swift, purchased 3% of the record label that signed her, Big Machine,
Okay.
at an estimated $120,000. And it is believed, it's speculated. This is not hard cold fact, but a lot of people believe it. So I'm just going to throw it out there and you guys can do whatever you want with it. It is believed that her dad bought the first 100,000 records of her album, her debut album, the day of the release, to help boost the numbers on the Billboard charts. And then that made everybody else go crazy because once you see someone on the Billboard
Yeah.
charts, you start checking them out.
I mean,
It's hearsay, but I personally heard a lot of stories of mom and dad helping.
yeah.
And that's crazy to me. I laid in bed and was like, wow, that,
It's sort of like slightly like a family business.
well, to have a parent believe in you that
Yeah.
much too,
Yeah. True.
to do that kind of stuff. That's an
True.
investment, that's a risk.
Mhm.
True.
For your dad to say, I'll buy the first 100,000 to boost the numbers is crazy.
Yeah.
To me.
Wow.
So I don't know, it's not confirmed, it's not denied. What do you think?
I could see it. I mean, just by like how supportive they are, I could totally see it. I mean, I don't think that that's untrue. I would most definitely think that's true.
I would believe that it's true. I heard that altogether they invested about $5 million into her
I've
starting.
heard 9.
Dang.
So it's,
Well, she's making that back in a night. So
oh,
She's making more than
that.
that.
But that was a lot on her family to invest in her. But well worth it, obviously.
Oh yeah, and I mean, she also does other things besides music. I don't know. I found this out. I'm talking about a little bit interesting facts. So she did the short film for All Too Well.
Yeah, that was cool.
And she wrote that and like directed it and all of that. But in 2022, in December, she actually wrote a film script. There's no like details on it yet because they're still working on it because it was in December, not too long ago. So Searchlight Productions are working with her, and they're possibly going to be doing some sort of film that she actually wrote.
Cool.
So talking about like she writes all of her songs and everything. Well, now she's like writing scripts.
I know she's done some acting too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my question: what do you think you could take away from her?
I think I hit on it earlier, but like these crazy things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you are invested in and people invest in the right thing, it's well worth it.
Mm.
I stand by the fact that I don't think we'd have Taylor Swift as we have her now had her parents not been as supportive as they were. I think that I personally try to take a lot of like marketing wisdom from how Taylor Swift does things because I think there's no one else that markets like Taylor Swift. She's brilliant with that. And just a testament to the fact that once you make like lifelong fans, you make lifelong fans.
True.
And I think for a lot of us, we grew up with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So she's like an unspoken member, like distant member of our family. And so
True.
it makes us more lifelong fans. Also the writing.
That's what I was gonna
Brilliant
say.
writing.
I mean, you already are a great writer, and
Mhm.
so I just think just continue. Really, I mean, both of y'all, if you compare both of y'all have been doing it for a very long time. And I think just the continual practice and the continuation of it is just going to make it even more spectacular.
True. I mean, just from her, like, her showmanship is something to really be, like, to take into account. Not necessarily, like, the extravagance of her shows. It's more of her, like, persona without being fake, which I really admire about her. But yeah, I mean, the marketing stuff is really where it's at. She's genius for that. She's genius.
And I think there is a ton we could say about Taylor Swift that we didn't get to cover, but at the end of the day, we have to stop this somewhere. So everyone can comment below all the things we missed. Share all of your fun facts below. And we can all just talk about Taylor Swift together.
Yeah.
Yep.